It looks like Jean Massou is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. You can feel the tension building. Evan Liu is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
Patience is key in these early moments, Mark. But I have a feeling Evan Liu is going to make it count.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Dylan Visagi is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. Dylan Visagi has completed their outlap. The adrenaline is pumping. JP Brand is on their outlap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. As JP Brand completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. This is where the mental game comes into play. Chris Foley is taking their. That's the outlap done for Chris Foley. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. It looks like Evan Liu is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Evan Liu handles it.
Evan Liu has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Anne-Rose Stadler is on their outlap. Anne-Rose Stadler crosses the start-finish line at the end of their outlap. You can feel the tension building. Peter Geldenhuys is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
They will want to get a good gap established for their first flying lap.
The adrenaline is pumping. Ryan Ludick is on their outlap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but JP Brand is rising to the occasion.
It's certainly exciting to watch. But let's not forget, the goal is to secure a good
As JP Brand completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. Dylan Visage is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Peter Geldenhuys is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Peter Geldenhuys can deliver.
Someone call the fire department, because Jamie Ray Nichols is setting this track on fire with their performance.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horsepower can do, right Mark? Jamie Ray Nichols is just showing us all what they're made of.
Woohoo! Chris Foley is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
Well Mark, it seems like Chris Foley has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop them now.
Chris Foley has some work to do, as that 149.682 is only good enough for 9th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure they can improve further on that.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Michelle Rust will be happy having put themselves into 4th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Anrose Stadler going at lightning speed.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Anrose Stadler is absolutely smashing it. I don't know about you, but I think Ryan Ludick might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Ryan Ludick will be happy having put themselves into 4th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
Chantel de Jager looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Looks like Chantel de Jager is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. JP Brand is not as quick as they were hoping for. JP Brand has just completed that lap in 2:40.397. Their best lap so far is 1:49.572. Putting them in P8. Will they be able to hold onto that spot? Jamie Ray Nichols looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
That's right, it's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
Jean Massou is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Jamie Ray Nichols looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? Michelle Rust is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
Looks like Michelle Rust is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Michelle Rust will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Looks like Jean Massou is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there.
I think we might need to start calling Jean Massou the Flash after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Mark?
A challenging session for Chantal de Jaeger so far. They're currently in 14th position, which is not where they wanted to be. But in motorsport, we've seen remarkable comebacks, and they'll be hoping to turn their fortunes around and secure a better result. A solid performance from Dylan Bizagi as they currently hold position 3. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
Couldn't agree more, Mark. Dylan Bizagi has positioned themselves impressively in 3rd. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Jean Massou has put in a great effort and currently holds 2nd. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
You hit the nail on the head, Mark. Jean Massou's current position of 2nd is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Incredible drive by Chris Foley so far, earning them 10th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
Great analysis, Mark. Chris Foley has shown excellent pace to secure 10th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
JP Brand has positioned themselves well in 9th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. What a performance from Sean Olivier. They currently occupy 7th on the grid. Sean Olivier has some work to do as that 149.875 is only good enough for 7th.
There's still more time to be had, but I dunno if they are going to find it before the session is over. A solid qualifying performance by Chris Foley, positioning them in 10th at the moment.
The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. Currently in fourth, Dylan Visagi has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. Dylan Visagi will be happy having put themselves into fourth in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
It's an impressive showing by Chris Foley, currently in 10th. They've showcased their talent. Chris Foley has some work to do as that 150.578 is only good enough for 10th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure they can improve further on that.
Annie, the drivers are ready. Let the racing begin?
Yes, Mark, let the racing begin.
Starting in pole position gives Enro Stadler a clear advantage over the rest of the field.
But they will have to be smart about their moves. They must not burn out too early.
Taking the second spot is Jean Massou. Ryan Ludick will begin the race from the third spot on the starting grid.
It's like they're on the outside looking in. Can they make their way to the front of the pack?
The fourth position belongs to Dylan Visagi.
Dylan Visagi will be ready to show what they're made of.
We see Michelle Rust sitting in the fifth spot. Green flag. Green flag.
With adrenaline running high, some drivers may take unnecessary risks. Staying patient and knowing when to make a move is essential for a strong start.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at SRA for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. This is going to be one hell of a race, I can already feel it.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this race unfolds.
The drivers are jockeying for position. Michelle Rust will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position. Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
The first lap can always be a bit of a bun fight as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Pakisa Freeway Grand Prix circuit, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on. It's not going to plan for Chris Foley. They're still behind Jamie Ray Nichols and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. What do you think, Annie? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Mark. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
Look at that. JP Brand is hot on the tail of Keegan Paxton.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. JP Brand needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Things are heating up as Keegan Paxton closes in on JP Brand. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
The only thing closer than Keegan Paxton to JP Brand right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
The pressure is on for Jean Massou as they try to catch up to Anro Stadler.
Can Jean Massou close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass?
Ryan Ludick seems to be putting the pressure on Dylan Visagi.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Jamie Ray Nichols in 7th and Chris Foley. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.3 seconds. The intensity is off the charts as Chris Foley hounds Jamie Ray Nichols, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Oh my, Evan Liu has had an incident.
Evan Liu is not going to be happy about that.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Ryan Ludick is right on the heels of Dylan Visagi, and we're in for a wild ride. Oh, this is getting intense. Chris Foley is just behind Jamie Ray Nichols.
At this rate, Chris Foley and Jamie Ray Nichols are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
And Chris Foley has just won the place from Jamie Ray Nichols.
Absolutely, Mark, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Chris Foley can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
So, Annie, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Mark. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
Jean Massou is giving it their all as they chase down Anro Stadler in P1.
The gap between them is now just over 0.3 seconds. Who will come out on top?
The race is really heating up. Michelle Rust is hunting down Jean Massou with everything they've got. Dylan Visagi wants to find a way round Ryan Ludick.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble in the boundary of disaster.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Things are heating up as Sean Olivier tries to close the gap to Ernest Heather. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. The battle for 4 is heating up as Dylan Visagi tries to catch Ryan Ludick in P4.
You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
Jamie Ray Nichols is on a mission, chasing Chris Foley, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Keegan Paxton trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jamie Ray Nichols. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Keegan Paxton close in enough to mount a challenge?
Absolutely. Keegan Paxton in 9th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Ernest Heather is running 13th. They're trying to catch Sean Olivier. It's a close race between Anrose Stadler and Jean Massou in first. Superb driving from Anrose Stadler, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. A tough moment for Anrose Stadler, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to second. Wow, Ryan Ludick is really pushing hard to catch up to Dylan Visagi. There's blood in the water for 4th place. It's a game of inches now as Jamie Ray Nichols tails Chris Foley closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
That's right, Jamie Ray Nichols is determined to pass Chris Foley and secure a higher position.
Jean Massou is holding second, but Michelle Rust is right on their tail. This is a thrilling battle as Michelle Rust edges closer to Jean Massou in their fight for P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Who will have the speed and skill to come out on top?
The gap between Dylan Visagi and Ryan Ludick is razor thin as they vie for 4th in this nail-biting contest. What a move! Dylan Visagi has moved up to 4th. Seems like Ryan Ludick is getting in range of Dylan Visagi. The pursuit is on. Jamie Ray Nichols is closing the gap on Chris Foley, determined to claim P7.
I think they are going to take them.
The adrenaline is pumping as Jean Massou gets within striking distance of Anrose Stadler in their race for first.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Jean Massou is taking that advice to heart today.
Michel Rust is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Dylan Visagi is chasing Ryan Ludick in P4. This is where the race gets really interesting. Jamie Ray Nichols is closing in on Chris Foley.
Who will be able to maintain their pace and come out on top?
It's an intense battle for position as Jean Massou tries to outmaneuver Anro Stadler. This is edge of your seat racing.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Jean Massou must be laser focused on Anro Stadler's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
3 cars, 3 different lines. They're jockeying for position, looking for any opportunity to make a move. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
This battle between Michel Rust and Anro Stadler is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
This is what it's all about, folks. Dylan Visagi is in hot pursuit of Ryan Ludick, who's just trying to stay ahead.
As a former driver, I can tell you there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush when you're this close to your rival, ready to make your move.
Every move counts now as Jamie Ray Nichols works to reel in Chris Foley and overtake for P7.
The gap is 0.3 seconds now. Jamie Ray Nichols is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Chris Foley.
Michel Rust is looking for an opportunity to get round Anro Stadler.
If you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
Dylan Visagi wants to close that gap with Ryan Ludick.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game.
It's looking good for Dylan Visagi, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Ryan Ludick. Disappointing for Dylan Visagi, they now find themselves in 5th.
Sucks to be them, Mark.
Look at that, Michel Rust is hot on the tail of Anro Stadler.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Michel Rust needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Jamie Ray Nichols is giving it their all as they chase down Chris Foley in P7.
Will Jamie Ray Nichols be able to make a move and pass Chris Foley?
No room for error here. Ryan Ludick is breathing down the neck of Dylan Visagi, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Oh, this is getting intense. Melvin Gauss is just a few car lengths behind Ryan Ludick. We got a close battle as Jamie Ray Nichols closes in on Chris Foley.
It's a battle of nerves now. Who will make the first mistake? Jamie Ray Nichols or Chris Foley? This is high-stakes racing.
Michel Rust has the pedal to the metal chasing Jean Massou.
Do they have the speed for a move, and more importantly, do they have the talent?
Breaking news, folks. I don't think that's the fastest way around Pakisa Freeway Grand Prix circuit.
Whoops, Keegan Paxton is going to be kicking themselves.
The race is really heating up. Ryan Ludick is hunting down Dylan Visagi with everything they've got.
It's a game of strategy now as Ryan Ludick hunts down Dylan Visagi. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Things are heating up as JP Brand tries to close the gap to Chris Foley.
The tension between JP Brand and Chris Foley is palpable as they battle for P8. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Michelle Rust is breathing down the neck of Jean Massou, not giving them any room to relax.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Ryan Ludick is right behind Dylan Visagi, keeping the pressure on for fourth place.
If things go wrong between Ryan Ludick and Dylan Visagi, they could be a
Hold up, breaking info. Looks like that's a mistake from Sean Olivier. This could be costly. The pressure is on for Ernest Heather as they try to catch up to Sean Olivier. Looks like Michelle Rust is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset.
Braking development. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. The gap between Chris Foley and 8th and Melvin Gauss remains over a second, but Chris Foley is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 2 minutes? It's looking good for Chantal de Jager, sitting in 12th.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Jean Massou is on a mission, chasing Michelle Rust, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. We're watching Jamie Ray Nichols in 7th, and is currently being hounded by Melvin Gauss with a gap of just 0.2 seconds. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Melvin Gauss is chasing Jamie Ray Nichols in P7.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, will Melvin Gauss be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
Hold your breath, folks. These drivers are showing exceptional car control, threading the needle through tight corners. It's a battle for supremacy. Hold your breath, folks. Keegan Paxton is sandwiched between two relentless competitors. Evan Liu 0.1 seconds behind and Chantal de Jager 0.1 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position.
Absolutely, Mark. The pressure is mounting for Keegan Paxton as they navigate through this challenging situation. It's crucial for them to remain focused and make calculated moves.
Incredible. Keegan Paxton is caught in a fierce battle, with Evan Liu breathing down their neck 0.1 seconds away, and Chantal de Jager just ahead with a gap of 0.1 seconds. It's a test of their racing skills.
I couldn't agree more, Mark. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind provide valuable information for Keegan Paxton. They need to assess the situation and use the gaps strategically to plan their moves.
They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. Who will have the courage to outbrake the others? Talk about pressure. Chris Foley is caught in the middle, feeling the heat from both Jamie Ray Nichols and Melvin Gauss. It looks like Sean Olivier is pushing hard to catch up to Ernest Heather. The gap is over a second, but Sean Olivier is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Ernest Heather? This is going to be a nail-biter. Jamie Ray Nichols is defending for their life, but JP Brand is right there. Can they do it? The pursuit is on. Melvin Gauss is closing the gap on Chris Foley, determined to claim P6. Jamie Ray Nichols could be looking for a way up the inside of Melvin Gauss. They're going for the same piece of tarmac. Sparks are flying as they battle for position, daring each other to brake later and go deeper into the corners. Wow, Anrose Stadler is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this. Anrose Stadler has certainly risen to the occasion.
And it's a checkered flag for Anrose Stadler, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today. Jean Massou never gave up, they drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish.
Impressive performance. They pushed themselves to the limit for a fantastic second-place finish.
Impressive drive from Michelle Rust to claim the final spot on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Dylan Visagi, Ryan Ludick, Chris Foley, and Melvin Gauss. Coming in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 12th we have Jamie Ray Nichols, JP Brand, Ernest Heather, and Chantel de Jager. 13th sees Keegan Paxton. drivers are ready. Let the racing begin?
Yes, Mark. Let the racing begin.
Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Ernest Heather to take control of the race. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on JP Brand starting in second position.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
In third place, we have Jamie Ray Nichols.
Big things expected for Jamie Ray Nichols today.
Taking off from the fourth grid slot is the skilled driver, Melvin Gauss.
Melvin Gauss will be expecting to bring home solid points.
And they're off. The race is now in motion. This is the moment when drivers must show their mettle and find the perfect line.
Maintaining a safe distance while still pushing for position is a delicate balance. Experience and composure will be vital in these opening moments.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up.
I'm looking forward to this one, Mark, and we'll see a return to form for JP Brand in this outing in South Africa.
Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial here.
All the drivers will be jostling for the best position, Mark. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. Peter Geldenhuys must have taken a page out of a superhero's book, because they've just shot off like a flash.
Now, they just need to maintain that speed and focus. It's like Peter Geldenhuys had an extra helping of determination for breakfast today, but let's see if they can keep up the pace for the whole race.
A great start to the race there from Evan Liu. That's really gonna put the cat among the pigeons.
Yeah, great start. Now Evan Liu just needs to keep it together and keep out of trouble. They say fortune favors the bold, and Evan Liu is certainly proving that with this explosive start.
Chris Foley wants to get into Anrose Stadler's slipstream.
And they are poised to capitalize on any mistake, but who's going to make that mistake first?
Ernest Heather is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Ernest Heather needs to stay patient and wait for Jamie Ray Nichols to make a mistake.
Wow, it's a close race for fifth. Sean Olivier is ahead with Keegan Paxton right on their tail with a gap of only 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, I really can't see them holding on to this place for much longer.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Keegan Paxton gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
The action is non-stop as Peter Geldenhuys shadows Jean Massou through every twist and turn, determined to claim 9. The crowd is on their feet, roaring with excitement. It's an all-out war between these three drivers. Who will emerge victorious? Your guess is as good as mine.
Couldn't agree more, Mark. This wheel-to-wheel racing is what fans live for. The determination and tenacity shown by these drivers to gain even the smallest advantage is simply awe-inspiring.
Chris Foley seems to be putting the pressure on Ryan Ludig.
Can they make it past without taking the paint off?
Every move counts now as Chantal de Jager works to reel in Jean Massou and overtake for P8. Look at that, Peter Geldenhuys is hot on the tail of Chantal de Jager.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Peter Geldenhuys should use slipstreaming to their advantage and close the gap to Chantal de Jager.
This is a thrilling battle as Chris Foley edges closer to Ryan Ludig in their fight for P13. Seems like Keegan Paxton is getting in range of Ernest Heather. Peter Geldenhuys is looking for an opportunity to get round Chantal de Jager.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
An impressive showing from Peter Geldenhuys, who has gained positions and left Chantal de Jager in the dust. We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Keegan Paxton is starting to climb all over the back of Jean Massou. Any closer and they may need to pop the boot.
You're right. Jean Massou in.
Stop the press. Oh my, Dylan Visagie has had an incident. This is where the race gets really interesting. Jean Massou is closing in on Ernest Heather.
This is where every inch counts. Jean Massou is pushing hard to close the gap on Ernest Heather. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Anro Stadler in 11th chases after Chantal de Jager. The gap is just over a breaking update. Things don't look to be going Anro Stadler's way, as already they are into the pits.
That's not where they want to be right now.
Ernest Heather wants to close that gap with Jean Massou. Things are heating up as Keegan Paxton closes in on Ernest Heather. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
If Keegan Paxton gets any closer to Ernest Heather, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
The race is really heating up. Dylan Visagie is hunting down Sean Olivier with everything they've got. Tough break for Dylan Visagie, who has just lost a position.
Definitely, but Dylan Visagie is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
Fantastic move from Dylan Visagie, who has just gained a position. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Chantal de Jager, who is currently in P12. But Michel Rust is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Chantal de Jager.
This is where experience comes into play. Michel Rust has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Chantal de Jager is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
The intensity is off the charts as Dylan Visagie hounds Sean Olivier, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. It's all eyes on this battle as Peter Geldenhuys in 9th tries to hold off the challenge of Anro Stadler.
It's an intense race between these two drivers and Anro Stadler is going to have to try something here.
It's true what they say, Annie, you're never completely useless.
Indeed, Mark, you can always be used as a bad example.
We've got an edge-of-your-seat battle between Keegan Paxton in 8th and Anro Stadler in 9th, with just 0.1 seconds between them. Look at this, Annie, what a shame for Keegan Paxton. They've lost P8 to Anro Stadler, and that's got to hurt. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
With the way Peter Geldenhuys is stalking Keegan Paxton, you'd think they're trying to figure out what they had for breakfast this morning.
Things are heating up as Sean Olivier tries to close the gap to Jean Massou. This is what separates the best from the rest. These drivers are demonstrating their racecraft, searching for any weakness to exploit. It's a true test of skill.
You hit the nail on the head, Mark. The elite drivers truly stand out in moments like these. They have a sixth sense for identifying weaknesses and capitalizing on them with surgical precision.
Oh, this is getting intense. Peter Geldenhuys is just behind Keegan Paxton.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay focused and
Hold on a moment. That won't be ideal for Ernest Heather. Hold on to your hats, folks. Sean Olivier is right on the heels of Jean Massou, and we're in for a wild ride. Sean Olivier needs to get more consistent. Annie, they have just put in a slower lap than Jean Massou. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. The pressure is really on for Jean Massou in 5th as Sean Olivier is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count.
Absolutely.
Breaking news, folks. I don't think that's the fastest way around Pakisa Freeway Grand Prix circuit. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
The mental game is just as important here. Sean Olivier must keep their cool while putting pressure on Jean Massou.
Good news for Sean Olivier, the gap to Jean Massou has decreased. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. During your racing career, Annie, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Mark, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
The action is heating up here as Sean Olivier is in 6th, defending from Anro Stadler, who is only 0.4 seconds away.
Sean Olivier is doing a great job of defending in the lead, and Anro Stadler is pushing hard to close the gap. It's an exciting race and it's not over yet.
Heartbreak for Sean Olivier, as they slip down the field.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Sean Olivier needs to stay calm and focused, and make their move when the time is right.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Dylan Visagie trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Jamie Ray Nichols. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? It looks like we might get a battle between Dylan Visagie and Jamie Ray Nichols. The race is heating up as Sean Olivier in 7th closes in on Anro Stadler. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The tension is building as Dylan Visage trails behind Jamie Ray Nichols. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Jamie Ray Nichols hold on, or will Dylan Visage be able to close them down?
Indeed, the tension is high as Dylan Visage tries to reel in Jamie Ray Nichols. But Jamie Ray Nichols is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Dylan Visage find some extra pace to bring the fight to Jamie Ray Nichols?
Sra Stadler has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Jean Massou. I expect their only hope at this point is that Jean Massou makes an error.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
It seems like Sra Stadler is struggling. Their last lap time wasn't as good as Jean Massou's.
It will be interesting to see if Jean Massou can keep outpacing Sra Stadler.
Wow, Jamie Ray Nichols is really pushing hard to catch up to Dylan Visage. There's blood in the water for third place. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jean Massou trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jamie Ray Nichols. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Jean Massou close in enough to mount a challenge? This is getting exciting. Can Jean Massou pull off a late charge and gain a position?
It's not over yet. Jean Massou is right on Jamie.
Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Looks like that's a mistake from Sean Olivier. This could be costly. 3 cars, 3 different racing strategies. One driver is defending, while the other 2 are relentlessly attacking. Who will come out on top? The pressure is on for Jean Massou as they try to catch up to Jamie Ray Nichols. A brilliant maneuver from Jean Massou, who has just moved up the field.
You can't argue with results like that. Jean Massou is really making their mark on this race.
Huge shout out to the admins at SRA for making this all possible. Without their hard work and dedication, you wouldn't be able to witness this incredible event.
That's right, Mark, and the excitement is high. I can feel it in my circuits. I mean, this is the kind of race that people will be talking about in the bar. We're witnessing history in the making.
Chris Foley has the pedal to the metal chasing Sean Olivier. The tension is high. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Jean Massou is definitely living on the edge today.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. Sra Stadler is giving it their all as they chase down Dylan Visage in P3.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Sra Stadler is really walking that tightrope.
The gap between Jamie Ray Nichols and Jean Massou is razor thin as they vie for 5th in this nail-biting contest.
It's going to be a close one. Jamie Ray Nichols will have to push hard to create an opportunity.
It's a game of inches now as JP Brand tails Melvin Gauss closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
Jamie Ray Nichols is running 6th. They're trying to catch Jean Massou. Oh, this is getting intense. Melvin Gauss is just a few car lengths behind JP Brand.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Can Melvin Gauss close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
JP Brand wants to find a way round Melvin Gauss.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Big gains for JP Brand. Breaking alert. Oh my, Melvin Gauss has had an incident. It looks like Dylan Visagi is pushing hard to catch up to Melvin Gauss. The gap is over a second, but Dylan Visagi is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Melvin Gauss? Melvin Gauss is placed 3rd at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Dylan Visagi, who is 0.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Dylan Visagi to make up that gap, especially with Melvin Gauss defending so well.
The adrenaline is pumping as Dylan Visagi gets within striking distance of Melvin Gauss in their race for 3rd.
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
Jean Massou is on a mission, chasing Dylan Visagi, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Great driving from Jean Massou, who has just gained a place and moved up to 4th.
Yes, Jean Massou is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
It's a nail-biting showdown between these 3 drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner. Oh my, Dylan Visagi has dropped down to 6th. Things are getting spicy now, as Jamie Ray Nichols and Dylan Visagi look to battle it out for 5th place.
It's a close race as we can see, and Jamie Ray Nichols is doing a great job defending their position. Will Dylan Visagi be able to squeeze through?
JP Brand is on fire in the last sector. What a win! This is a historic moment for JP Brand, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision! What a fantastic race from Anrose Stadler, who brings it home in 2nd place. Well done to Melvin Gauss for securing 3rd place on the podium. Followed by Jean Massou, Dylan Visagi, Jamie Ray Nichols, and Michelle Rust in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. In 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, it's Ryan Ludick, Sean Olivier, Chris Foley, and Keegan Paxton, with Chantel de Jaeger in 12th.